Good day, everyone, and a warm welcome to our webinar today. The purpose of our webinar is to do a practical walkthrough on the Shadowmatch coaching system and to show you some of the new developments that we've made live very recently. I would also like to welcome Charmaine. You will see her face on the screen. Thank you very much for joining, Charmaine. Most of you know Charmaine very well. She does all the support for the coaching system. She sends out all the communication and all the invitations and all the links. So from our side, Charmaine, in a public forum, thank you very much for all the hard work and all the support to our coaches. I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of everyone to say we really appreciate your assistance, your support, and all your expertise. So dear coaches, what I would like, as I said, the purpose of our webinar is to do a practical walkthrough. So I'm going to share my screen and then I'm going to share the coaching platform. As normal, you can make use of the chat functionality for your questions. Charmaine will handle the chat. Any questions that she would like to present in the public forum, she will present to me at the end of the webinar. I'm sure we're not going to be a full hour, so I will allow time for questions towards the end of the webinar. Then I will allow you to unmute your microphone. I'll enable that setting, and then you can ask your questions. Please just keep in mind that this webinar is specifically just for the practical application of the system. Should you have any other questions, you're welcome to send that to coaching@shadowmatch.com, and we can address those questions with regards to a client or with regards to challenges that you have with the client. We can address those questions in the Q&A session. I think it's in 2 weeks' time, we've got our next coaches Q&A session. Great, so let me share my screen. Great. So I'm going to log in. Let me do that. So I think, dear coaches, most of you that have joined thus far are quite active on the coaching platform. So a lot of these things you probably know of. I'm sure there will be something new that you haven't seen before. So let's start. So as you know by now, in the left navigation panel, as well as in the top navigation panel, you have a number of options. So in the left navigation panel, and this is your coaching landing page or your dashboard or your home page, whatever you want to call it. So you can invite a new client by clicking on that button. Just a sideline note, when you invite a new client and you know that that client has already completed a Shadowmatch worksheet, please ensure that you send the invite to that client to the same email address that they used when they completed the Shadowmatch worksheet. On Shadowmatch, your email address is your unique ID. So if they've completed Shadowmatch on one email address and you now send this invitation to an alternative email address, the system won't automatically link the two. And then we have to go and do it in the back end. And then if you send it to an alternative email address, the system will actually ask them to do Shadowmatch again. And that's not feasible and that's not recommendable. Should they have done Shadowmatch quite recently. So that's important. Make sure that you use the email address only if they've already got a completed Shadowmatch worksheet. Then you've got the button where you can manage invitations. Now you will see on this platform, there's an invitation sent to Mpilo. It was sent today, 2 hours ago. Now I can either resend this invitation as a reminder to Mpilo, or I can remove this. For some reason, Mpilo notified me that, listen, Lizette, I'm no longer available for the coaching, or I'm going on vacation. And you know what, let me start this in 2023. So I can remove this invitation so that it doesn't sit on my portal. It does not yet take up one of my programs. It only takes up one of my available and coaching programs the moment she accepts the invitation and we activate the coaching program. So that's where you manage the client invitations. Now, let me just go back home so that I'm on the home page. In the left navigation panel, you can see that I've got 4 active clients, and we will look at clients once again when we go to our top navigation menu. And then on my main homepage, I can see client updates. So that says that there's a update from Jane Jordan. She's busy doing fulfillment coaching, and she has set up a calendar invite for the meet step. So there's an update from my client. Then there's updates from Shadowmatch. Now, dear coaches, this is where you will find the links for the upcoming Shadowmatch coaching events. You can see that today's one is the coaching system navigation. If you click on that, it gives you the Zoom link. So you can merely go to your platform, click on the Zoom link and join the webinar. And then we've got all the upcoming ones for the rest of the year under the client, the updates from Shadowmatch. Any coaching requests, so if anybody goes to the Shadowmatch coaches page, they search on Google, they're looking for a coach, or they've heard about a Shadowmatch coach, they go to the Shadowmatch coaches page and they request for you to be their coach. This is where you will see the coaching request. You will, however, also receive an email with the coaching request. So it's dual, it goes into your email and you can also see it as a coaching request here. Then you can also see the coach's calendar. So this is the Shadowmatch calendar for the year. This only gives you the coaching events in the calendar. Now, I think most of you by now know that we do not load the recordings onto the calendar because the calendar is publicly viewable. The recordings are sent to the people that are registered as coaches on the platform. But should you wish to, you can go to the full calendar. That gives you the full Shadowmatch events calendar for 2022. And here you see all the events. For example, on the 16th of August, we had the parenting webinar. If you click on that date, it will give you the YouTube link and you can watch the recording. You can also copy and paste this link and share it with other parties. You can also see the red or the maroon color events. Those are the Shadowmatch events. And for these ones, we also have the recordings loaded. For the upcoming months, as you all know by now, if you go to the following month and you click on one of those, you will find the Zoom link as soon as we've loaded the Zoom link. So that's the calendar. If we look at the top menu, the first one here is My Practice. Now, most of you are individual coaches, so you've signed up to the coaching platform and you use the coaching platform like this one, Shadowmatch Coaching. It's an individual, there's my clients, that's it. But should you be a coach and you act as a head coach, or you have a coaching practice and you've got coaches that are working under this practice, then you will use this option and you will create a coaching practice. I'm not going to go through the steps right now. We've got a webinar where this was explained in detail. And if you are interested, you can merely just click Create My Coaching Practice, go through the steps on screen, and should you struggle, you can contact Charmaine and she can help you with this. What's the benefit of a practice? The benefit of a practice is if you're a head coach and you've got coaches working in your practice, you can view the clients of those coaches. And should one of the coaches fall ill or they go on vacation and you don't want to stop the coaching process, you can step in and you can continue with the coaching where the coach has left off. And the coaching practice also allows the practice or the head coach to activate and to pay for a number of programs and then to allocate these programs to the coaches in the practice. Just a last comment on the practice. Once you sign up for the practice, there are two options. You can either, as the head of the practice, purchase a number of coaching programs and allocate to your coaches, or alternatively, each of the individual coaches can activate their own PayPal account. And although they're part of the practice, they can pay for the programs themselves. And those options are clearly available and clearly visible when you start the coaching practice. Let's go to clients. Now, this is my list of clients. I've got 4 active clients, and you can see that it shows the programs that they are busy with. If I search, now I've only got 4 clients, so there's no need for me to search because it's clearly visible who they are. But those of you that have a long list of clients, you can use the search functionality to search for a client. Now, we've had questions in the past where you search for a client and you say, but I can't find this client. Keep in mind that once you've archived a client, that client will no longer be on this active list, and the search is currently only active for your active client list. So if you are searching for a client and for some reason they just don't come up, you go to your archived clients and you can see that Alice Adams is currently archived. So I can unarchive her if I wanted to become active again. So if we just go back to our clients and I search for Alice, you will see that the system doesn't recognize. It says there are no clients matching your search. So keep in mind, if you know that I'm sure I had Alice as a client once, just go to your archive options and check your restore archive clients list and see whether that client is not maybe an archived client. So that's quite an important note to just take note of, comment to take note of. Now the coach training. This is a list of all the resources available to you as coach. So you can go through all the understanding Shadowmatch, and you see most of these are videos that you can watch. These videos explain the Shadowmatch principles, the Shadowmatch results very concisely in short videos. Then we've got the coaching process. There are some audio files, there are some documents that you can download, and then there are some videos that you can watch as well. There are training programs available for the career coaching. You will see at the bottom of this list, we've got career coaching session 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are 4 webinars that we presented, I think about 2 years ago, probably. And these are the 4 webinars that explain the career choice, making a career decision for somebody that's going into going into a career as a new person, needs to go and study or has finished studying and now needs to make a career decision, or finishing school. These sessions help you to help a client making that career decision. Obviously, the career coaching program will take you step by step through the process, but this is quite a good guideline with regards to what's coming in the different phases of this career choice program. I just want to make a comment on this. Currently, dear coaches, the career coaching program is quite a lengthy program, and that covers career progress, career development, changing a career. So if you want to work with a client where they merely want 4 sessions, they want to make the career decision and then move on, we are in the process of loading an express career coaching program. So that program will have 4 phases where the client completes Shadowmatch, gets the career report, you go through the career report, they make a decision, they make a career map, they make a decision, they test the career, and then they're done. So the express career coaching will probably still go live sometime this year, and that will be an express coaching, the word says it, where it's definitely just for making a career decision or a career choice. Then we've got the study method coaching, training programs, fulfillment coaching. There's a document that you can download, the same with the PDP coaching. And then that brings me to the Q&A sessions. Now, most of you have attended these sessions in the past, and if you look at the calendar, you'll see that we've got some question and answer sessions coming up for the rest of the year. These are exactly what it says, question and answer sessions. So during these sessions, we share new developments, we do a little bit of training, but we merely focus on questions that we've received from coaches with regards to challenging clients, challenging questions during coaching, issues like self-death, challenges and real difficult things that coaches have to deal with. You can see that we've nicely indexed it. So we've got a title. If you go to those, most of them are about 45 minutes to an hour in their duration. And as you scroll down, you can see that we've had 20 of these Q&A sessions already during the course of this year and last year when we launched the coaching program. What's not on the list currently, but what is available, we've got a coach certificate training course. That's a course, 12 modules, each of those modules an hour in their duration, with a test that you do after the module. So if you haven't done that, you're welcome to get in contact with Charmaine. She can send you the link to do the coach certificate training. Once you've completed that training, you will then get a certificate, and the certificate logo, as well as a downloadable version of that certificate, is then loaded on your coaching platform. Many of the coaches have already done this. We're currently busy with the advanced coaching certificate. So if you want more information about that, please just send an email to coaching@shadowmatch.com and we can assist. Then we've got the marketing material. So this is where you as coach can find downloadable documents and videos that you can use in your marketing of your coaching services to clients. A whole list of brochures and document brochures and videos that you can download and that you can use in your marketing emails, social media, as well as your marketing material that you use to market to clients. Then the second last one is the refer a coach. So once you've signed up and you're a coach and you enjoy the system and you see the benefit, you see the value, you get all the good feedback from your clients, and you meet someone that's maybe already a coach or that's interested in becoming a coach, you can go to the Refer a Coach tab. You fill in the person's name and email address with a short personalized message. You can preview the email and then you send. What then happens is the system sends an email to that person that you've identified and says, listen, Lizette thinks that you might be interested in becoming a coach using the Shadowmatch coaching platform. Should you be interested, please click here to sign up as coach. And then that's an automated process. And the moment that person then signs up to become a coach, the person is linked to your name in the back end, and you earn 25% commission on all the usage of the system for that specific coach. No obligation that you have to support the person or help the person. It's completely independent. The only thing that the only reason why you would refer is so that it's linked to your name in the back end and you receive your 25% commission as long as that coach stays active. The moment they stop their subscription, obviously they don't pay anymore. So then you lose your commission on that specific coach. And then, dear coaches, the last one here is the accounts tab. Now, this is quite an important tab, but I want to spend a moment on this. This is the section where you can upload a profile picture. Now, obviously, because this is the file we use for demonstration purposes, we've used this Shadowmatch coaching logo as our photograph. But this is quite an important section. This is where you can see that you've got 5 programs that you are paying for. You've got 4 active programs. Remember, I've got 4 clients. I've archived one, so that seat became available. I've sent one invitation, but it has not yet been accepted. So as soon as Mpilo accepts that invitation, I will have 5 active programs. I can at any point in time, should I have more clients that are interested in coaching, I can upgrade. So I click on upgrade and the system says, okay, currently you are paying for 5 active programs. I can now upgrade to 10 or 7 or however many programs I need for the coaching. Keep in mind that the prices do differ for the international coaches. There are South African prices and there are international prices. So this monthly dollar price per program can differ if you are joining us from one of the countries abroad. So let me cancel. Your next billing date is an important date. So the next billing date for Shadowmatch coaching is the 30th of August. So this shows you when your next payment will go through PayPal. So if you miss a payment for whatever reason, you've changed your credit card or there was no money in your PayPal and you forgot that you need money because you've got this subscription for the Shadowmatch coaching program, you can go to your account page and look at the next billing date. Because obviously, if you can then in time have money in your PayPal, it will go and it will grab the money and it will keep your subscription active. If for some reason you miss the payment and your programs are not active, in this same section here, you will have the option, and I'm active now, but you will have the option to either reactivate your payment or start a new subscription. So if you've missed a payment, it's not the end of the world. You can just reactivate that payment once you've put money in the PayPal account, or you can start a new subscription. And you can at any point in time also pause your subscription. I'm not going to click on that button now because I want everything to be active for our demonstration today. Then the rest of the things here in your profile section, obviously your name, your location, your email address, you can put your personal slug. The personal slug will be the URL that you can add to emails. If somebody clicks on that URL, it will take them directly to your coaching page with your photo and your short bio. This is where you will capture your bio, your short CV. So for the personal slug, this is standard, shadowmatchcoaching.com/coach/. So you can then add Shadowmatch coaching Yusuf, Charmaine, Lizette de Villiers, whatever you want, and that will then become your personal slug. And here you can load all your social media handles. And then this, dear coaches, is the button that you need to select should you wish to become visible on the Shadowmatch coaches page. Now, remember, we have a page where all the Shadowmatch coaches that are using the system are marketed to the world. If you don't select this box, your photo and your bio will not appear on this page. If you select this box, your photo and your bio will appear on the page. So let me just go to that page. Shadowmatchcoaches.com. So there you are. This is the page where all the coaches that have selected to make themselves visible. And there's a randomizer, so Paul will not always be on top. It continuously randomizes so that we have different people that present themselves on top of the list. So you can go through this list and see who's available. If you didn't know about this list, go and make yourself available. Great, let's go back to the coaching platform. So I think that's what we've got on the accounts page. Let me go back home. This is now because I'm logged out. Let me just log in again. I've been inactive for a while. Great. I'm just going to log in again. Great, let me show you the new things with regards to the client updates. So if we go to our client list, let's go to Ben Bailey. You will now see that we've added things on the right here next to the mind, meet, move, appointments, and add. So now this little I says, who can view this content? So for the mind phase, it says the coach and the client can view this content. So for the coach, obviously the mind work is visible on your platform. For the client, our client is Ben. He will see exactly what you see, but in his personal portal. So the mind work is available for both. And there's a little hourglass that says there's work outstanding. We are going to add some mouse overs if you hover so that it will give an explanation. This went live very recently. So when you hover, it will say work outstanding. You can see that the meet phase says only the coach can view this content. And then coach and client, the notes only visible to the coach, and the performance evaluation only visible to the coach. This was a request we received to say, who can see what? Because people got confused, but can my client see this, or can't he, or can't she? So now we tell you who can see what. What we've also done is, if you are currently busy with the mind work, or you've opened the meet phase, and whilst you are working and you are preparing for the meeting, and you want to go back and you want to quickly have a look at Ben's career report, the system is now intelligent enough to remember when you go back to the career coaching that you have been busy. So your mind work and your meet work that you have opened will now stay open. So it will remember what you've done, and it will keep that active on your page where you've been working. I would like to go to someone else. Let me go to Jane Jordan. So now with Jane, you can see that we've got more icons. So with Jane, you can see we are currently on phase 3 of 23. We can see that the mind work has been done. The meeting has been scheduled, and there's nothing there outstanding. We've got a 1 there. It says there are notes. So these icons will indicate whether there's anything waiting and anything active. So if an appointment was scheduled, a 1 will appear there. And again, we will add little hover mouse overs very shortly. This is still on our to-do list, but we thought let us make this live in the meantime. Let me go to the notes. So this was also a request we've received from you coaches, that you would like to see all the other notes. So I can now make notes for this phase, but I can see all the other notes that I've made in previous phases. So the system will now keep record from the first phase throughout all the notes that I make. So I can now see that on the 25th of August at 11/11/17, there was a notes that was captured for Jane, and I can now see the previous notes. So this, and I can save, and I can go back, and the notes that I capture now and save will now be visible in the next phase. Then, for those of you that don't know the performance evaluation, so you can, and this is specifically valuable when you work with corporate clients, because very often in a corporate environment, if they pay you a retainer for your coaching services, they want to know what's the progress and what are we paying for and how are the individuals progressing. So you can use the performance evaluation. It's optional, it's obviously not compulsory, and you can rate your client with regards to their engagement, the work they do, their engagement during the session, their preparation, and how they implement actions that was agreed upon. And then as you score for each phase, the system keeps a running average. You can see that there we've got a nice mouse over. If you hover, gives you the running average. And for Jane, we can see that her overall performance score currently is 86%. And we can see that it's well done, that the system is happy. And now you can see what's the running average for the various areas that we rate her on. So that's the performance evaluation. That's quite a nice thing. And maybe even if you do some career or study coaching with a child and the parent wants feedback and the child is not progressing, it's also something you can share with the parent and see. But that's why we are not making progress, because X, Y, and Z. So that's the new things that we've added to the system, so that you can see what's available to whom, and the icons will show you whether something's outstanding and whether the homework was done. What I would like to show you as well, let me just see if I've got anything here. Obviously nothing outstanding. I was busy on the move, so I can close that again. I would like to share my screen and just show you two other things that we've made live on the system. Just get that. Give me a moment. So to those of you that have in the past been inactive or your payment didn't go through, what will happen now is as soon as your payment doesn't go through, or you stop your subscription, or you are part of a practice, but there's no program allocated to you in the practice, you will see this message. Your coaching portal access is currently limited. To find out why, click here. So if you click there, then obviously the system will take you to the next screen. And this is what you will see. Why is my coaching portal access limited? And it will explain your coaching portal functionalities are limited because you are not actively coaching and you do not have a subscription that covers your access. Now, we've also thought of the practice as well as the individual, and it says you must have an active private coaching subscription. You can click to learn more. Now, this is not on the live system. So on the live system, if you click, it will explain. And you must have an active coaching program paid for by your coaching practice. We've had in the past where people become part of a practice, but they don't get allocated any active programs. And then they have access to everything without having a payment option. So whether you are an individual or whether you're part of a practice, you must have a coaching program active. And there you can click to learn more. Now, should this happen that you've skipped a payment, you're no longer active, or you stopped your subscription, you've hit pause, what will be available? You won't have access to any of the coach training or the marketing material. And if you click on one of those tabs, this is what it will look like. It will be blurred, it will not be active, and you will not be able to click on any of those brochures or videos because you don't have an active subscription. You're not paying. The only page that will be available is your account page. Why? Because you obviously need to be able to go and reactivate your subscription or start a new subscription. And you will remember I referred to this earlier because mine was active. Once you've missed the payment, this is what you will see. This one is paused. This person can either now just reactivate or start a new subscription. And the system is intelligent enough to know which one is best. If you click on one and it's not an option that's available, the system will tell you, no, you can't reactivate. You actually need to start a new subscription. The system will guide you through the process. And then the last thing is just another screenshot to show you that all these icons are now available. This person is already on page 5 or phase 5 of 23, and we can now see this is done. This is outstanding. There are notes available. No appointments have been set. So it makes it easier for you as a coach with a glance to immediately see what's happening with each of your clients without having to go into each of those to check whether the homework was actually done. Let me just go back to my go back there. So I think, Charmaine, I don't think I've missed anything. If there's anything that you think on the list I have missed, then we can go back to that. What I would like to do now is to allow for questions. So I'm going to enable the setting for you to unmute yourself, because I'm sure some of you might have questions. Great, you can unmute. Let's hear. Anybody with questions, anything that was unclear, anything that you want to put on the wish list maybe? You are able to unmute if you need to. Anel, go ahead.
Hi, hello.
Hello.
Yes, I got a question, or me and Charmaine already discussed it. When you archive, that don't mean that, that they subtract that from your account automatically. You must downgrade as well. Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah, good question. Thanks, Anel. So that's quite important, and we've had that question from other people as well. So once you archive means I'm finished with this client, so I'm putting that client in the cupboard, and now that seat or that program becomes available for a next client. So archive doesn't mean I'm making my programs less. Archive says, I'm finished with this client. I want to use the program for someone else. I want to use this coaching seat for someone else. So if you want to downgrade, once you've archived and you don't have another client to use that program for now, you need to go to your account page and you need to downgrade 100%. So that's quite important. Thanks for the question. Archive doesn't mean I'm now taking that program away. It says I'm finished with the client. I want to use the program, the seat of the coaching seat for someone else. Thank you very much. Important question. You can just unmute. Sorry, you muted again. Anelskis.
No. And the other one is when you pause, that about PayPal, when you invite clients, that is on different dates. Then you got some they subtract on the 1st, the other one on the 15th, as you invite clients. And so you must, that's a problem, a little problem. Well, for me it is, I like it, everything must be in one box on the same day. So now you pause until that date, but your account stay available for that period until maybe the 1st of September.
Yes, until the next payment needs to go through.
Yeah.
Remember that the payment is not linked to the invitations to clients. Because what I think what you mean is you want to invite a client, but you don't have any more programs. So then you upgrade to a next program. So every time you upgrade and you add that payment, the system says, okay, on this date, there's a new payment. So the payment is not linked to inviting the client. The payment is linked to when did you activate the next program. So now you've got your subscription running on the 30th of the month, but on the 15th of the month, you've activated another 2 programs. So that additional payment will then go off on the 15th of the month. It works on a 30-day cycle. Unfortunately, that's not something we can control. It's a PayPal arrangement. And that says the moment you activate, PayPal takes that money on that day. We can ask the programmers. I'm not sure because it's a PayPal arrangement. It's not a Shadowmatch coaching portal arrangement. but important to understand that the payment is not linked to the invitation. The payment is linked to when you activate the program.
Yes, that's good. Okay.
Okay. Sunette, I see you had a number of questions. Maybe you want to unmute and just ask. I think it's going to be easier.
Yes, I think so too. So the first question is just around the practice. I'm just so it's just my economic brain figuring out the best way of doing it. So what I want to understand is if I pay for the programs as a coach or as a practice and I assign it to my coachees, then I actually, because I've introduced these coaches to Shadowmatch as well. So I am getting that 25% commission kickback. But if I pay for it, I lose the 25. But if I actually get them to pay for it, then I still get my 25%. Sorry, this is just a financial question of how I need to structure it better in my mind. I would then rather pay them that, say now we get a client on board, I would then rather give them that fee that they pay towards the program, and then I still get my 25% kickback. So it's just, yeah, I know it's a minute calculation, but yes, I just want to know.
Okay, let me explain, Shamaine. Sunette, there's no commission in a practice. So all the coaches that are in your practice, you don't earn commission on.
Yes.
Even if they pay for themselves. You earn, you earn commission on referrals. So within a practice, there's no commission. So if you bring people into your practice, you're not going to earn commission on them. If they stay out of your practice and they pay for themselves, then you earn commission. Yes.
Okay. So then it's irrelevant if I pay for it or they pay for that program. Okay. Because that becomes complicated if you want to manage that.
Yeah. And that was partly why it was done in that way. Yes.
Okay. So question 2 is I've invited, so I have a list of people, I'm a networker of note, and then I invite them to the practice and I invite them to become a coach, and then maybe they circumvent and get to the coaching one in a different way. And I've put in the effort of getting them on board, and then I'm like, okay, you're not linked to me. Huh.
Yeah.
Like, so is there, how can one go about, can one request that they be linked to you because you've put in the work, or is it like, sorry Bori, tough love, off you go?
No, not at all, Sunette, thanks. It's a good question. We've got a couple of situations where that has happened. So what you need to do is you need to send a list of people that you've engaged with to Shamaine. If we see that they do sign up and they are not automatically linked to you because they didn't follow your referral coach, we link them to you in the back end. And we've done that with a number of people where a coach would notify us, listen, Koos Koekemoer, I hear that he's using the system, but I'm not getting commission. And then we say, yeah, but nobody knew. No problem, we link it. And then immediately you start earning your commission. So currently there's no other way. If you can just send us a list of people that you've engaged with that you suspect will probably sign up or might have signed up, then we can just link them to you. Yeah, please do that.
Okay, so just want to find that out. And then, so question 3 is then irrelevant. Question 4 is, say now a client submit homework and they completely misinterpreted the question and they actually started building on their previous work, and you almost want to unsubmit their homework because now all of a sudden there's no place for them to go and redo the work. Is there a way that, and this is maybe just a wish list, that I can unsubmit their work that they submitted to me and send it back to them with notes saying, you kind of misinterpreted this little element. This is my suggestion. So currently I do it in emails, but then they do that resubmission on email, and then I have nowhere to go. Well, I put it under my notes, but they then don't see the work that they've submitted to me. So I would love to have that opportunity of, because sometimes people just misinterpret the instruction completely, to ask them to resubmit and not to just have the system closed down. And I think that's a wish list one. So that's more of a wish list. And then question 5 is, what is the progress of the system saving? Sorry, it just makes my life hard. I'm a paragraph and a bullet type of person. And then as soon as you've hard submitted the content, then it's one big blob of a paragraph. And I'm like, Okay, where my brain does not remember that sequence. It remembers the previous one. So I know you guys are working on that, but
It's actually live, Sunit. That's one of the things that went live today. So please test it out. I didn't show it because I don't have a long list, but that's one of the things that the development team notified me and said, the way that you've submitted it, paragraph or bullet point, the system will save it like that. If it doesn't work, let us know. It should.
Okay.
It only went live like, I think 12 o'clock today. So if you do it now, it should be. So let us know. Thank you.
Great. And then my last question is, I tend to set up recurring meetings with my clients. I don't do after every coaching session, I will do a next meeting. So I never use the appointment functionality on the coaching system, but I'm just wondering if one can, with a coach or with a client, set it up at the beginning, then it automatically appears in your calendar. It's been accepted and one can, so is it okay that we bypass the appointments and not?
It's fine.
Use it at all?
Yeah, that's fine, but it's a good idea. We can maybe put on the wish list to have the option of setting up recurring meetings in your first phase, and then it just populates throughout. So I've made a note. I think it's a good idea that it shouldn't be compulsory, but it can be an option, like you do with Zoom. Those, will this be recurring? How often? It's a good idea. So I've put that on the wish list. I think Charmaine had a comment on one of your questions. Charmaine, do you want to go ahead?
Thank you, Lizette. Yes, I was thinking maybe if you could share your screen. I think if you go into the move option, but past a previous phase, so not the newest phase, right? If you go on the move option and you go right down to the bottom, there could be a redo button. I had somebody that wanted to redo, so
Charmaine, let me share quickly and see if we can find.
Maybe if you can go to phase 3, maybe there.
Okay, let me just open up. Okay, let's share and see. I'll go to the coaching.
And is it the coachee that will have that option, or is it the coach that will have that redo option?
I think the coach, we can go into a coachee's platform as well and we can check. So this is a working webinar, so let's check. So let's go to a previous phase. Let's go to phase 1 maybe, Charmaine. And
on
then
move. If you click on move, and you scroll to the bottom, down there.
Redo this phase. So with move you can. I think what Sunette wants is she wants this by the mind work.
Mind work, yes.
Okay. That's a good idea. It's something that we've already programmed because it's available in another section on the phase. So it would be something that they could just replicate here. If we quickly go to Jane's personal portal, let's do that so that we have a look at what Jane sees. Give me a moment. I'm going to go. Okay, so this is obviously then now Jane's personal portal, and we go to her coaching and development. And this was her mind work, select phase. Let's go to phase 1 because that's the one we viewed now and see. Yeah, you're right. She can't edit. So that's a nice thing on the wish list, Sunette, so that the coach can actually comment and say, not happy with the work, you've missed this and this, can you please rework and resubmit? Very good idea. Thank you very much. So that's something we can add. Great. Any other questions, Sunette? Was that it? Good. Thank you very much. Let's see. I know there was a question in the chat. Let's see from Frederick. Frederick, I think you are referring to the Shadowmatch system. That will not be part of today's session. What I can say is we are in the process of moving. I know a number of coaches are using Shadowmatch Basic, where you send worksheets, invites from Shadowmatch, so that somebody can do Shadowmatch before you actually decide whether they want to do coaching. We are moving that functionality to the coaching platform so that you have an option in your coaching platform to merely just send somebody a worksheet link. They can do Shadowmatch, without inviting them to a coaching program. And that payment will also run through PayPal. And then once they've done Shadowmatch and you've had a discussion just around their personal feedback report, you might decide, you know what, this client doesn't want to do coaching, because currently you are using two systems. I know you go to Shadowmatch Basic to send the invitation, and then you have the discussion, and then you go to the coaching platform and you invite the client. So we are merging those two so that from the coaching platform, you can also just send an invite. And from the coaching platform, you will have the option, even if it's not a coaching client or even the possibility of getting this client for coaching. If you just want, you are coaching a child on study methods, but the mom and dad also wants to do Shadowmatch, you will be able from the Shadowmatch coaching platform to send the mom and the dad each an invitation just to do Shadowmatch. And that payment will run through PayPal. So I think that's what Frederick is probably referring to. Frederick, if you are referring to other things on the Shadowmatch platform, like the team application, that's not part of the coaching platform, and then maybe we can refer you to some of those webinars. I don't know if you want to unmute and ask, Frederick. Maybe I've misinterpreted your question. You're welcome to ask.
Thanks, Lizette. Your explanation helps me. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Great, thanks, Frederick. Thank you very much. Let's see other questions. Yusuf, any questions from your side? Nothing.
No, I think that question from Daniela is interesting.
Okay, let me
scroll down in the chats, and that'll be cool.
Let me quickly look at her question in the chat. I enrolled a client on the live coaching, and after the first session, he's not committed to the program. Do I archive the program and start with another client, or can I use the same program but allocate it to a different client? Good question. Thanks, Danila. No, you'll have to archive that client, archive that program, and then start with another client. So that's a good question. Remember, that's why it's so important to determine before you start with a program whether this is the right program for the client. And I know it is going to happen from time to time where we've done everything and still the client starts with phase one and says, this is not for me. That should be the exception. Because keep in mind, the moment you archive prematurely, there is an additional fee. And the reason for that, dear coaches, and I know none of you on the screen are guilty, but it so happened that people use the coaching system. They invite the client, they get the report for $11.50, and they archive the client, and they invite the next client just to get the Shadowmatch reports at a reduced fee. It happened. So the reason why you have to pay that additional fee is to recur, to get the cost, to recoup the cost that it would have been if you use the normal system for the price of the full report and the career report, or the full report and the study report. So unfortunately, in some instances, if you did everything with a client and they still start and it's an exception and they say, not for me, you will unfortunately have to pay. And maybe you can also agree with the client up front, like, listen, you know what, this is what you're paying for the coaching, but if at any way we're not finishing the course, there will be an additional penalty fee. You know, maybe that's a way of recouping that cost. But yeah, unfortunately, you'll have to pay that fee. But the moment you've archived the client, that program becomes available and you can invite the next client. It looks like that did answer your question. Sunit?
I just wanted to add to that process, because that can be painful, especially at the beginning as a coach, very painful. So what we have done is we've decided to say, okay, and I love the fact that you can issue the reports then, or the invites for the reports from the system. So what we do is we charge the client to say, okay, let's draw the reports, whatever amount it is, if it's study, if it's career, if it's personal. And then you have about 3 introduction sessions where you talk through their reports, you get a feel for one another. And by the 3rd, 4th engagement, then they literally, I'm getting the clients to say, yes, I need this and I need this. And when they can voice that, because I think what's the problem is if you suggest a program, then they haven't voiced it, and that's when they fall off. So we find that within 3 to 4 sessions, without activating a coaching program, you can gauge if they're serious enough and they kind of put up their hand. And then when you activate them, it's like, baby, you have to at least do it for 6 months or 12 months. Otherwise, there's penalties, my love. love, and we move that to the client instead of taking on that onus on your own shoulders. So that's just something I find works very well.
That's very clever. And that's why I'm also thinking, you know, the penalty then becomes the clients, but after you've done the exploratory discussions first. We had a coach who started with a client, and I'll get to your question now, Yusuf, but we had a coach who started with a client on fulfillment coaching, and some of you might have heard the story. And I think by phase number 2, they realized that this client is not going to progress, because part of the problem and one of the dead horses in this person's life is he's not progressing in his studies. So the coach then moved to study method coaching. But what the coach did is she didn't archive the program. She paused the fulfillment program. So the program was paused, but was still allocated to the client's name. They then went to study method coaching, completed the study method coaching. Person did very well in his CA exams. And then they came back to the fulfillment coaching. So that is also a possibility. If it's not to only archive if the client says, I'm not interested. But if you see that you've started the wrong program with a client, obviously it's also going to be a fee, because you might now need to activate another program. But just pause that program next to that client's name. Do the study methods, finish, archive that, and then continue with the program that you've started off with. So that's also an option. It will obviously cost more, but then you are charging the client for the extra program. So then the client anyway pays for that additional program that you've now activated. It's not that you've archived prematurely. Let's just quickly look at the chat. Joseph, cheers. Thank you very much for joining. I think he's already gone, but thank you very much. It was great seeing you. We've got about 9 minutes left. Let's hear, are there any other questions?
Now. Sunette, I got just a wish list. Is like when you read through the clients, what you write down on the coaching thing, and to highlight what you see. Otherwise, during the coaching session, you must read through everything because you lost some things, and that will be nice to have. That's all.
Thanks, Anel. It's good that you give us the nice to haves. It's not necessary that we can do all of it immediately, but some of it is definitely feasible, and we put it on our to-do list. I know Frederik is still on screen, and Frederik has asked way back when for things, and it's only been made live now. But Frederik can testify that if it's feasible and if it's valuable, we do it. It is sometimes not immediately, but we do it. But I think that's also a good comment, you know, so that you can highlight and you come back, and then it's easier if you share your screen and it's a virtual session and you share your screen with your client, you can immediately see, let's look at this and this, and it's highlighted. So there's definitely method in that madness. Thank you very much. A last comment from my side. Do you think these sessions are valuable, and would you like us to have these practical discussion sessions around the system, maybe once a month, once every 2 months? Maybe you can just show by means of a hand or not. Anel says yes. We've got the Q&A session, so that's more. Frederik, thanks. Danila, yes, please. Okay, great. So that's the plan. The plan is to continue with the Q&A sessions where we address the psychological challenges, let's call it that. I'm putting it in inverted commas. And then to have these sessions where we address the practical questions, because it's important for us to make the system for you as user-friendly as possible. And if you see that if you see that some of the new things that we've made live is really too much, or it's not working, please feel free to let us know. We don't make use of the system every day as a coach, you know, so we think it's nice to have, and maybe it's just the irritation. So it's great if you keep communicating with us, and even in these sessions, give us your wish list. Let's see, last round. Any last comments? Any last questions? Doesn't look like it. Thank you very much. It was great seeing all of you. Thanks for the interaction. Thanks for the questions and the comments and the wish list. It's always nice to walk away from a session with more work to do. So I can just pass this on to the development team. They will not love me, but they will be very happy that our coaches are engaging with the system. Have a great day, everyone, and we see you soon. Go well. Bye.